And I asked the most important question that I could ever ask. I said, does any of this have nuts in it? I waddle my ass in the damn living room. I asked him like, yo, can you take me to the hospital? She's like, this time you're talking about how it's in your throat and in your stomach. It's categorized as anaphylaxia. So we want to make sure that you don't go into anaphylactic shock. Welcome back to the channel. All right, so like I said in the last video, just dropped the LDOC video. So if you haven't watched that, somewhere up here. But like I said at the beginning, the start of LDOC really wasn't how it's supposed to be. So let's get into the little story time. Alright, so boom. Alright, so it is the Monday before LDOC. So the weekend's over. I just went to all my classes to get back from my last class, which is at it ends at 4:45. So I get back to the crib at like 5:30 and I'm making myself food and I'm just chilling. I have a work meeting at 6:30 and it's like a celebration for like the end of the year, right? I get done cooking my food and it's like 6:30 already. So like I'm already late. So I'm thinking like to myself, I'm like, should I even go for real? But I found it in my heart. I was like, you know what? Let me just show up because I missed a few meetings just with some other like school stuff I had going on. So I was like, I'll show up for like the little meeting. That was the first red flag. I probably shouldn't have just gone. I was already late. I probably shouldn't have gone. I get there and you know, I see all my coworkers and stuff. I don't really know nobody that well. All the tables were full, so I go and sat by myself. I don't got a problem with it. I'm sitting by myself and then one of my bosses, actually two of my bosses come and sit with me and they was telling me about the food and I was like, do you want to go get any food? Because they had food there catered from Chola Na, which is an Indian restaurant. Where's Indian food? I heard of it before, but I never had it. I never had Indian food before. So like I was a little bit hesitant to try just cause I got a lot of dietary restrictions. I got allergies. As I've said in the last story time, we're allergic to nuts, shellfish. That's for the food. Just for the food. They're like, oh Connor, do you want to go get any food? I'm like what is it? Like it's Chola Na. They're like, have you had it before? I'm like, nah. It's like, it's Indian food, it's really good, you should try it. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll go get it. So I go up there, I look at it, you know, it looked all right. So I just went up there and poured myself a cup of lemonade, sat back down. They were like, nah, like I think you should really try the food. Like it's really good. I'm like, okay, fine. I was like, what do I get? So I go up there and my boss is making a plate for somebody else. I'm like, what's good here? She's like, you can try the naan bread. I've heard of naan bread before. You can get the naan bread. Here's the chicken tikka masala. Here's some tofu, rice, and then like some desserts. And I was like, okay. And I asked the most important question that I could ever ask. I said, does any of this have nuts in it? She says, no. You can eat everything but the desserts because the desserts have nuts in them. Nothing but the dessert has nuts in them. I said, are you sure? She said, yeah. Okay, we're good. I load my plate up. I get some naan bread. I've heard of it before. Get some naan bread, I get some tofu, the chicken tikka masala, and some rice. I get to my table, I'm eating my food. The tofu wasn't bad, the naan bread was good, and the chicken, surprisingly, was good. Like, it was good. I messed with it, it was cool. But like, after taking like 3 bites of the chicken, I was putting the chicken in the naan bread, because that's what I was told I was supposed to do. So I put the chicken in the naan bread, and I feel like my throat's starting to get a little bit scratchy. And I'm like, I'm gonna stop eating. So I drink my lemonade, I'm drinking my water, because I'm like, this probably in my head, it was probably just spicy. And then I start to feel like it's a little bit like harder to swallow, which obviously means that I ate something that I shouldn't have. So I ask my boss, I'm like, hey, you said there was no nuts or anything in this, right? She's like, nah. And I was like, well, I'm starting to feel like I'm having an allergic reaction or something. She's like, really? And I was like, yeah, like I ate something I shouldn't have. Like I can tell. So she's like confused. And so I take it upon myself, being the responsible individual that I am, which I should have done beforehand, learn my lesson. I look up Chola Na, look up the menu, look up the ingredients. So it comes up on like the little UNC page. So like, I'm typing it up, boom, 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 Chola Na, and I look at it, and I look at all the stuff that I've eaten. I look at chicken tikka masala, I click it, it says ingredients. It says, I don't even know what it said, but the second ingredient said tree nuts. I can't catch a break. So I was like, oh, like I showed her my phone. I'm like, there's tree nuts in this. I'm pissed. No lie, I'm pissed. I'm not gonna yell at my boss. I'm not that stupid. I show her my phone. I'm like, there's tree nuts in this. I'm like, did you know that? And she's like, oh, really? And I was like, she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going home now. Like I was trying to play it off like it was cool. I'm going home now. I drive home. You know, text my parents and stuff. I took Benadryl, took 1 dose of Benadryl. Text my parents, like, hey, ate something I shouldn't have, just to like update them. Because the last time, obviously, I went to the hospital. So I get back to the crib, take another dose of Benadryl, and like I'm trying to go to sleep. Because like Benadryl usually gets all the symptoms away if it's something minor, which usually it is. I've only took 3 bites, so it should be something minor. I don't know what happened to that, but everything I've had has just gotten worse and worse. I try and take a nap. I'm trying to fall asleep. I text Paul. I'm like, yo, check in on me in 30 minutes to make sure I'm not dead or nothing. People know in the house, just to make sure I don't like, you know. So I try and sleep, but I can't. My stomach starts getting upset. And I was like, oh, here we go again. Go to the bathroom and keep it clean and everything like that. I lost all the chicken tikka marsala. Yeah, it was bad. I'm not gonna lie, it was bad. So the first 2 times was involuntary, and I didn't feel better after that, so I took it upon myself to get the rest of it out. That's all I'm gonna say. It was bad. Like my chest hurt, and like when I was getting it out, I don't know what happened, but some of it got in my nose. Like I blew my nose, and there was throw up in my nose. I don't know how that happens, but it's like the nastiest thing that's ever happened to me. I literally blew out of my nose chicken tikka marsala, and I smelled it. I was like, how the hell did that get in there? At that point, I'm cooked, and I'm just like, yeah, like I can't do this. I waddle my ass in the damn living room. I see Mike, who's my roommate since freshman year. I asked him like, yo, can you take me to the hospital? He's like, now? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay. So he takes me there. He drops me off at the hospital. So 2 for 2 on hospital visits. He asked me if he's like, do you want me to stay with you? I'm like, nah, you're good. I should have told him to, because it was mad lonely in there. And this time took a lot longer, probably because it wasn't at like 4 a.m. when I went. So there was a lot of people in front of me. There was this guy, he like couldn't remember his wife. I think some guy broke his foot. And then I think there was a pregnant girl in front of me, no lie. She was going through it. So like obviously there are some people before me that probably need care before like a minor allergic reaction, you know? I was cool waiting a little bit. Obviously I still had some symptoms, but I just put my AirPods in. I was watching YouTube. So I was probably sat in there for like an hour before they saw me. And then they like took my vitals and stuff like that. Told them I had chest pain, stomach pain, you know, all the symptoms that I got from my allergic reaction. And they're like, okay, so said you have heart pain. We're gonna test you for like anaphylaxis. They checked my heart rate and make sure my heart was working good. Yeah, that was that. But then they just put me back out in the waiting room for like another 30. You focus, gang? After they put me back in the waiting room for like another 30, they finally call me up. I go in, they got me in the same kind of setup they had me at last time. It might have been the exact same bed. Like I didn't get moved to a room. It's like a big room with a whole bunch of beds lined up, and they got just big tarps, which like block you from seeing other people and just, you know, give you a little sense of privacy. So I sit down, doctor comes and talks to me. She's like, what happened? I think this is gonna go like the same way as it usually does. Give me like the steroids, the Benadryl, the stomach stuff, the IV bag, and I'm good. She's like, this time you're talking about how it's in your throat and in your stomach. When it's in 2 systems of your body, it's categorized as anaphylaxis. So we wanna make sure that you don't go into anaphylactic shock. And I know that's like heart attack. Now she putting out big words, now she putting out scary words. So like I call my parents, so I'm on the phone with both my parents. She's talking about like, you know, considered anaphylaxis. We recommend that you take the Epi-Pen. Now, everybody with allergies know what an Epi-Pen is. Little pen, jab it in your leg, and go to the hospital. And it's supposed to just eliminate all the allergic reaction happening in your body. So I've never taken one before. I've been blessed to have not taken one before, had like that severe of an allergic reaction. I guess it's the first time for everything. She was talking to me basically like, you can take the Epi-Pen and stay in here for like 4 more hours because we have to monitor you. Or you can just get everything else and probably get out in like 2. At this point, both of my parents were like, just take the Epi-Pen. And I was like, what's the difference between 4 hours and 2 hours?
What's the difference between 4 hours and 2 hours?
Man, you stupid bitch!
She did tell me, she's like, listen, when you take the Epi-Pen, you're gonna feel like shit. And I was like, how does that work? She's like, it's basically gonna trigger a fight or flight response in your body. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't really believe her. I get out the Epi-Pen, you know, take it like a champ. She's like, wow. She actually said this. She said, that's the best I've seen somebody take an Epi-Pen. So really, I'm that guy. So I take it, and then like 5 minutes later, my body just starts shaking. Like shaking uncontrollably. Like my heart was beating fast as hell. And like I was like on the phone with my parents, and my hand was shaking like this the whole time. I called my roommates just to let them know I was good. They're on the phone like, bro, stop shaking the camera. I'm like, I dead can't. Like I'm FaceTiming them like this. We're talking about the Lakers game. I can't even watch Bron lose again. I'm getting distracted. So I'm shaking. So like I put my phone down. I'm laying there like I'm shaking. Granted, I'm okay. Like they're watching me. They're monitoring me. They left after like 5 minutes. But you know, I know I'm like in a hospital. I know I'm safe. I'm still like there shaking, whatever. That lasts for like 15 to 20 minutes. Very uncomfortable. Def made me feel like shit. So she was not lying. But after that, I still had the IV bag in me. All the medicine and stuff cleared out everything. So I was feeling good. But then there's a time when like all the pain meds numb. Like, damn. there's a time like when all the pain meds, like, they wear off. So like I'm sitting there and like the only thing I can feel is the IV like in my vein. And that don't hurt, like it's uncomfortable. I did my best to like fall asleep. I took a little nap. I woke up, it was like 3:30 or like 2:30, one of the two. I called the doctor, I'm like, yo, like I'm good. She comes back again, she's like, all right, so, you know, you're good, you're all good. Give me some things to go in for a prescription. You know, she's like, you're good to go. And I was like, okay, cool. So I text in my group chat in the house. I'm like, hey, is anybody awake? Can anybody come get me? Because like I'm on South Campus and we live past South Campus, past Med Campus. So it's like a 20 to 30 minute walk. Nothing terrible, but like it's 3 in the morning. Like, I'm not trying to walk. My body's weak. My leg is sore. I didn't realize the Epi-Pen made me that sore. And I was trying to call an Uber, trying to call a Lyft, but it wouldn't connect. Like they wouldn't connect me to a driver. I sat there for 30 minutes not getting connected to a single driver. So then that's when I said, I texted the group chat and I was like, hey, is anybody awake? No one responded. So I'm like, okay, great. At this point, like I didn't know what to do, so I did just like I was so tired of it. I just wanted to I just walked home. Scariest walk of my life. Walking in at 3 a.m. is a little bit spooky. Like, am I just scary? So I ended up walking back. It was like 20 to 30 minutes. I was on the phone with my mom's the whole time, just to make sure somebody knew if I got like taken or something. Somebody would know. You know, I was walking. I felt like someone was finna pop out the bushes on me. Like I just had that feeling. I don't know why, I just had that feeling, but I eventually made it back. And then as soon as I make it back, Paul texts back in the group chat and he's like, oh, my fault, I was in the shower. It's not fun, you know, to all you people that have your phones on D&D, do better. I got my phone on D&D right now, I'll admit that. But there's a certain amount of people that just get through no matter what. My roommates, my family, and like my closest friends, they get through. I don't get through on Paul's D&D. But if I really would have got snatched up, let me stop. Yeah, like I said, made it back home, woke up at like 10, went and got some prescriptions. That's why I was late to the pit. Yeah, I got those prescriptions and then, you know, thugged it out for the rest of LDOC. Yeah, and then Wednesday, I definitely felt the repercussions of not just taking LDOC as a day off. I definitely felt the repercussions of that. But that's the end of the story time. You know, I hope y'all liked the video. I very much appreciate everybody who stayed to the end, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.